This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. It was a nightmare.
Flight 807, you're clear for landing. Runway 7, Bravo.
All personnel report to the nearest tornado shelter. This is not a drill.
If you need help, then dial your operator.
Have no fear, fellow citizens. The Mediator is here.
Good morning and welcome to this week's edition of The Mediator with me, your host, Brian West, here to give you the top 8 headlines and developing news stories that made it this week. Now, as usual, I'll give you the top 8 local headlines and developing news stories that made it first, followed by a movie clip, a skit, a trailer, something that's going on in the community, or maybe some pictures. And then I'll give you the top 8 international headlines and developing news stories that made it in, folks. So let's waste no time, baby. Oh, yeah. Let's get to it. Story number 1, grading the valley's snow response. Thus far, the aftermath of the snowstorm is still making headlines because grades are coming in when it comes to the snow crews. Now, the people of Youngstown made numerous headlines battling the snow, and some were not pleased with the response. The key word is some. Now, some people were literally trapped with some streets never being plowed. Now, the snow removal process was so challenging that Youngstown had to call in reinforcements. Now, the key talking point in the story is the fact that Youngstown has almost 1,000 streets, and road crews have made it clear that closed mouths don't get their snow shoveled. So it's important to let crews know by calling the city's hotline while also utilizing other resources put in place to handle demand if another snowstorm comes. So that's why story number 1 made it this week. Big headline. Story number 2. Neff to challenge Cutrona. State Rep Al Cutrona, a Republican from Canfield, will face another test after filling the seat vacated after the death of Don Manning. Now, in his first election, Cutrona won by about 61%, defeating Chris Stanley, and will now be challenged by another Democrat from Canfield City Council, Bruce Neff. So that's why story number 2 made it this week. Cutrona. Big headline. Story number 3. Local investments have been in the news, folks. Local investments have popped up in a number of headlines showing the effort that a lot of local people have been making to strengthen the valley. Now, about $30 million by the DeBartolo family has been put into the Southern Park Mall, and another valley native looks to invest about $300 million into a new facility to develop and manufacture hydrogen fuel cells. Now, the point of the story is to show how much people have been pouring into the local market just to try to keep it afloat and get people jobs. Now they're pointing at the workforce, saying it's time to get to work. Now, other investments outside the local market are also making headlines, keeping the story alive, and they continue to make headlines because people are concerned about the job market. That's why story number 3 made it this week. Story number 4, grading the local justice system. This is a big headline. There are still complaints coming in about trial numbers and delays. One headline read that a triple murder trial was delayed. Now, this is yet another story in recent news, putting the local legal process under the spotlight. Trial delays, probation proceedings, and criminal convictions have all kept the local justice system in the headlines. Major stories about repeat offenders have been in constant circulation. Some of these stories ending with the death of these offenders' victims. It means that they've been released and committed more crimes. Now, thus making this a serious topic and a major story because everybody is concerned about the progress in the speedy trial by jury in the justice system. So that's why story number 4 is so important. That's why I made it this week. Big headline. Story number 5. There's a local political battle brewing, folks, and I'm going to try to name all of them all the politicians that are running. I'm going to try to get these names right. Here we go. As of February 2nd, running for the state Senate seat that'll be vacated by Senator Rob Portman. You have Tim Ryan, Morgan Harper, Tracy Johnson, LaShondra Tinsley. Now, they're all running on the Democrat candidate tickets as Democratic candidates. Then you have the Republican ticket. Matt Dolan, Mike Gibbons, Bill Graham, Josh Mandel, Bernie Marino, Neil Patel, Mark Pukita, Jane Timken, and J.D. Vance. They're all set to battle on the Republican ticket, and they're spending their own money. A lot of these candidates. On February 2nd, the number was set at about $29 million for the Senate seat. Story number 6. COVID-19 cases are on the decline. That's good news. Cases are on the decline, but headlines about the illness still have people fearful of catching COVID-19 or any other variants. Now, it's clear that the virus is here to stay, folks, and after over a year, we should know how to deal with it by now. Now, seeing cases on the decline is the first sign that we may finally be seeing some good news when dealing with COVID-19. This virus has worn a lot of people out, and that's why story number 6 almost made it to the top 2 local headlines and developing news stories this week. Big headline. Story number 7 in the top 2 local headlines and developing news stories that made it this week, with Valentine's Day just around the corner. I hope love is in the air. I hope it's still alive. Treat her like a lady. Treat her like... Love is in the air for Valentine's Day, baby. I got my red on today. Story number 7. Time to assess Valley politicians. Give them a test grade. Now, with another big election set to take place in Ohio and districts being redrawn, a number of analysts will be going into assessment mode when it comes to Valley politicians. Now, analysts will be looking at the current conditions of the healthcare system with COVID-19 still lingering around. Now, they will also be focused on the budgeting goals and the current conditions of the state economy. Now, analysts will also be looking at crime rates and the potential for future development in some Ohio areas. There have also been so many stories making headlines when it comes to the potential of job growth and the market and how the job market is looking. Now, this will also play a big factor in which political leaders have pulled their weight when it comes to each of these categorical assessments. So everybody will be looking to see who is pulling their weight. That's why story number 7 made it to the top 2 this week. If a politician wants to keep a job, I just tried my best to go through all those names of the seats that are up for grabs, and that's why story number 7 is so important. Story number 8 in the top local headline and developing news story that made it this week, folks. Right with all the love, passion, devotion day right around the corner. She loves me not. I knew she didn't love me. She left me, baby. Story number 8. How are we dealing with the virus after a year? Locally, there are still a lot of grievances when it comes to how we have handled the virus. The growing displeasure with policies put in place to prevent the spread of the virus continues to make headlines. Many common sense thinkers have been in heated debates with professionals about what his or her or what has worked and what has not worked when discussing the spread of COVID-19. So there's still a lot of debating going on. Now, there are also new discussions popping up about if the vaccine can be linked to a spike in blood clots, heart attacks, and other unusual conditions being reported after taking the vaccine. Some people have even died because of some of these conditions. Now, this story is still developing. That's why story number 8 made it to the top local headlines and developing news stories that made this week, folks. I'll be right back. I'm going to take a quick break. Those are our top 8 local headlines and developing news stories that made it this week. So don't go anywhere. You're in the Mediator with me, Brown West. I'll be right back.
What does Method8Inc.com Media Center have that I need? small prints, event consulting, photography, business consulting, technical consulting, entertainment consulting, fundraising advice, event videography, movies, news, publishing, media, books, entertainment, acting, broadcasting, public relations, access to the visual and performing arts, ink and black ink refills, audio recording, graphic design, theater, minor computer and cell phone repair, and they're located at 5648 Market Street in Boardman, Ohio from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m.
Let there be voice that sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmony of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening sky. Let us march on till victory is won. Song full of the hope that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the dark that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun as our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won.
Welcome back. Now it's time to get to the top 8 international headlines and developing news stories that made it this week. Folk, I am no gigolo. I am just a man on Valentine's Day. I've had my fair share of love. I tried to date a girl a while back, and people have become real freaks. It's a freaky day we live in. People have become freaks, and they ain't ashamed to talk about how freaky they've become. I'm over one of my friends' house a while back when I was in a dating game, and I tried it out after I had come up with in a brutal relationship. I started dating again, so I went out with this girl, and we got a little cuddle-lug and a little toodaloo and touchy, and I went in a room, and I didn't know this girl was freaky. This is my Valentine's Day in a long time, and I heard a lot of babies was made on Valentine's Day. So we all cuddle-lug, and I hear somebody under the bed. I said, "Man, what's going on? Is everything all right? What's going on?" And next thing you know, her sister came up from under the bed with nunchucks. And I couldn't believe it. This was a Valentine's Day scare. And the girl I was with, she pulled a hammer out from under the pillow. I said, "Oh, Lord, this is freaky stuff. I can't do it. I couldn't do it." I got out of there. I ran out of that house so fast. Ever since then, I've been celibate. It's the last Valentine's Day I got to spend with somebody. I want to run to you. That's what I got out of there, folks. Well, folks, that's my story. That's my Valentine's Day story, folks. Let's waste no time. Let's get to the top 8. Let's get to it. Story number 1. The evolution of pornography. Speaking about love. Pornography has popped up in the headlines because porn sites in the UK may now be legally required to verify users' age. Now, this story has put porn back in the discussion block, and when that happens, people then focus on the pros and cons of a billion-dollar industry. Porn has evolved, folks. That is a fact, and the truth is that everybody likes sex, and porn has shown us that there are almost no limits to how far the freaky mind can go. Freaky, nasty stuff. The freaks come out online, folks. Now, this is a real deal story, especially in the reality of discussions when you talk about it. Maybe you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do, that. That's what it all talks about when you're talking about sex. Now, porn stars are also a part of this discussion because some porn stars have talked about abuse and a high rate of drug use in the porn business. in the industry. That's not good news, especially when it's become corrupted. Now, the ease of access is what has this story trending, and no one knows what the world would look like without porn, because there is no proof there, because there's proof that porn has always been around since man began to make even art. He's showing nasty stuff. People have been freaky for a long time, folks, and the word is out. That's the fact. Now, if there is somebody in the business, this is real though, if this is a real topic, because if there's somebody in the business that needs a voice, and who has been abused in the porn business, and if there's somebody out there dealing with addiction to porn in the porn house, or feel they need some help and they're crying for help, that's what got this story in the first place. So it's definitely deserve a talk, and that's why it must stay alive in this story, because we don't want people to be abused for sexuality. It's God given, baby, and it's pure, and it makes you feel good. That's why Story number 1 made it this week. Story number 2. Is there alien life out there somewhere? So we just talk about space junk and the mysteries of planet Earth. This is a nice, interesting little topic. Several articles talking about the countries contributing to the most space junk and how the United States plan to deal with it. There's also some topics talking about the impact that human beings are having on the evolutionary process. And this is all what got the story in. So they're saying that we're affecting how evolution is being, how it happens. They're talking about moths on buildings, all types of stuff. Now, other stories making recent buzz talk are the continued number of new discoveries related to mysterious structures and drawings found on Earth. Now, this is before the technology age and even human advancement. Now, these are discoveries that cannot be explained. So there's some mysteries on this planet that cannot be explained. New facts are showing that planet Earth may have been full of activity before we humans were even here. They're talking about drawings and hieroglyphics, all types of stuff. So now the new question is, who was here before us? What could have been aliens? And that's why story number 2 made it in this week, because the more we talk about the stuff, the more interesting it becomes. They actually found matching tombs all over the world. How did that happen? And that's why story number 2 could spark some interest and made it in this week. Aliens, space junk, human nature, and what will happen once our time is up, if it ever is up. Will there be gods coming from the sky? One god, two gods? Who knows? But we're learning this as our mind evolves into the higher realms of intelligence, baby. Whew. Interesting stuff. Story number 3. Conflicts between Israel and Palestine are back in the headlines. 3 Palestinian militants made BBC headlines after being killed by Israeli forces. Now, the men were accused by Israel of carrying out a spat of attacks around the West Bank. Now, this story puts more attention on the conflicts that have laid low for a little while in the news since making front page headlines sometime back. I don't know if you all remember the big conflicts that sparked up about Israel and Palestine, the Palestinian people. Now, this has been sparking some discussions about ways to settle continued conflicts in the region, because this conflict is back in the news. So they're still talking about peace in this region and trying to find a solution. That's why story number 3 made it this week. Story number 4. The youth overdose problem. A new study on what the overdose drug crisis has done to the younger generation made it in Fox News, and it is translating into what is basically saying that there has been over 1 million years of lost human life in this story. Now, the article says that approximately 22,000 young people between ages 10 to 24 died of unintentional drug overdoses. Now, in the United States, that's between, they say that this happened in the United States between January 1st of 2015 to December 31st of 2019. Now, the unique thing about the articles, or the article that is in, the unique thing about it is the demographics. The article is aimed at young people instead of adults. Now, many say this study is well overdue, but it is overwhelming. Now, that's why story number 4 made it this week. Folks, well, those are our top 4 international headlines and developing news stories that made it this week. I'll be right back with the top 4. So don't go anywhere. You're in the media with me, Brett West. I'm right back. If you want to check out the stories that almost made it in or did make it in, go to our Twitter feed on our website. Check out everything. All of the sources are there. And go to the website. It's method.inc.com. Welcome back. Now it's time to get to the top 4 international headlines and developing news stories that made it this week. Folks, yes, it is Valentine's Day. It is this Valentine's week. Finding some love. And let me share another story with you. When I was in high school, they had this auction. Never forget it. And I went, they auctioned us off to get a dance and in school. And I got auctioned off for about $2, maybe $3 at the most. Some people were going for big money. And I was sad because I had a crush on some girl, send her flowers and get my heart broken all the time. I mean, just crushing stuff that I wouldn't recommend any man, a young boy, go through when he's trying to find a lover. So this taught me a lot about Valentine's Day, and if you got kids and they like somebody and they send flowers and tell them to stop spending their money. These girls don't want to be winded down. They want to be roughed up. Be so nice. Be so sweet, girl. That's what they like. To be roughed up. Whew. Girls, I do adore. Yo, they like the roughness, baby. Whew. Beastly stuff. I had to learn this at an early age. Crushed my heart. I tried to get me a girl, get blessed by some girl. Sent her flowers, came over, and I got a stalking license. And that's what Valentine's Day does to you, man. It drives you crazy. Looking for love. Whew. But it's always somewhere right in front of you. Whew. Folks. Well, that's my story, folks. Let's waste no time. Let's get to it. Story number 5. How prepared are we against a cyber attack? Whew. Talking about love is wearing me out. The Department of Homeland Security is calling for mayors to step up their security measures in the cyber attack field. One article released in a USA Today report reads that cyber attacks against the machinery that runs America are increasing by the day, and the article calls for mayors to form a line of defense. The story adds to a number of other stories calling for a more secure cyber America because just about every industry has gone digital. The story is still developing. Big headline. Story number 6. Dealing with inflation. Gas prices are the concern now, folks. Economists are watching the impact that inflation is having on all sectors, folks. High prices as a result of inflation have been in the headlines since the beginning of the year and look to carry on well later into 2022. Now, the nation's average gas price is now at $3.46 per gallon. That's not good. Now, analysts are predicting that things could get worse, which is not good either. That's why story number 6 almost made it to the top 2 this week. Inflation is bad. Big headline. Story number 7 in the top 2 international headlines and developing news stories that made it this week. Woo-wee. For you, baby. Around Black History Month and Valentine's Day to keep you informed, baby. Story number 7. Let's get to it. Almost there. With COVID-19 cases on the decline, what does that mean, folks? With cases on the decline, we most likely will start seeing most restrictions loosened up. So probably to at least get some normalcy. Now, some actually feel that we could also be close to getting things back to normalcy, if you want to use that word. Now, the reality in this story is that COVID-19 is here to stay, and we may now be working our way down to the resolution of over this overwhelmingly exhausting process. We got to the climax. People were falling out. Oh, I got COVID. People were at the end of the hospital. I can't breathe. And now we may be seeing some light at the end of the tunnel. Oh, we could be seeing the light. Whew. At the end of the tunnel, baby. That's why story number 7 made it this week. Whew. Yeah. Story number 8, the top local headline and developing news story that made it this week. Joyful, joyful Lord, we adore thee. Lord of glory, Lord of light. Hearts unfold like flowers before thee. Hail thee as the sun above. Story number 8. Sister Act, baby. Whoopee. Ooh, Lord. You ain't got to be in trouble when it comes to me, baby. Whew. Story number 8. COVID-19 has created some unusual vibes. Boy, wait a minute. Joyful love. They're calling it broken heart syndrome, folks. And that's not good. They're calling it chest pains, shortness of breath. And there are many symptoms according to a Fox News report of this broken heart syndrome. The syndrome is originally called, I'm going to try to spell this out for you, Takotsubo cardiomyopathy. I'm just kidding around. It's called Takotsubo cardiomyopathy. No, and they say that it's attacking women the most, and let's hope it does not attack those women who played the Sister Act. The COVID-19 ripple effect has created so many health issues that in Canada, an unvaccinated dad lost custody of his kids. Now, workers are feeling the vibes too after a Navy chaplain was amongst a group of sailors denied religious exemption to the COVID-19 vaccine mandate. So he said that when he wanted to say that he was religiously exempt, they made him get the vaccine anyway. So there's a lot of going on in the story. That's why I made the top this week. Now, the reality of the story is the fact that people feel powerless and they really feel like authorities are giving them no other options to deal with COVID-19. And it's causing some very, very unusual vibes not seen in mainstream society in a while, especially in America, the land of the free, home of the brave. People are being mandated. They're being forced to do things. And it's creating a lot of problems. That's why story number 8 is at the top this week, because there's some unusual vibes. Takotsubo syndrome, cardiomyopathy is the disease that talking about broken heart syndrome. So let's hope that we can heal a broken heart around Valentine's Day, baby. Knowing love the way I do, I can say for certain that it's true. There's a chance for me and you. Folks, I wore my red outfit today, folks. I hope you have a good week. Find love, and those are our top 8 headlines and developing news stories that made this week, international and local. I hope you got something out of today's program, folks. I always get something out of doing the research. If you want to show us some support, well, first, let me say, as usual, I'd like to thank all the news outlets, the journalists, the people on the front lines, the media. You deserve all the credit. I'm just a media, and I can't forget that tagline. And if you want to show us some support, I'll get to that one now. If you want to show us some support, it does not take much. All I have to do is visit the website on the screen, buy something, click on something, watch something, read something, or just sponsor a program. Folks, have a good Valentine's Day. If you do celebrate it with some love, find somebody to love. I'll probably be sitting in the room alone with my crucifixion waiting to do some exorcism because I don't want to be bothered. And but I do. We'll probably go out and buy somebody a Valentine's. It'll probably be my mom's dog. So thank you so much for tuning in this week. Have a good week, everybody. I'll be back next week looking through over 200 or more stories just for you to keep you informed. Have a good week, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to the Mediator with me, Brian West. Peace.
Have no fear, fellow citizens. The Mediator is here.